Welcome to Library Out Loud SCLD. I'm Erin Dodge. Have you ever been invited to a sports viewing party, but maybe you're not into sports? Librarians answer that very question today, Librarians Dana and Diane, and we talk about ways to survive and maybe even thrive. So stay tuned. Diane, Dana, thank you for being here. We're talking today about viewing parties. And as librarians, you guys get questions all the time about different things. And this topic of, I don't like viewing parties, but people I love like viewing parties. I have to go. How can I get through that? Came up. So what background or qualifications do you have to talk to this point?
I've never actually been to a viewing party.
Okay.
Unless you count watching the game with my dad.
Okay. Well, that could be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There are some sports I enjoy watching.
Sure.
But I'm not a big sports ball fan.
Okay.
I went to a viewing party once.
Is it not your cup of tea?
Visualize badly behaved dogs and lots of people holding plates of food on their lap.
Okay. Yeah.
So I really need a survival guide.
I see.
Which is why Diane and I have put our heads together and the library's vast resources together to figure out how to survive such events.
Well, and thinking about this, like some people are more introverted and some people are more extroverted. And so I could see there could be some differences of how you want to attend a party like this. So, or even just a gathering, even if it's just a few family members. If it's not your cup of tea. Anyway, so yeah, survival guide. What is it? How do we do it?
Remember that these are your friends, and part of the fun for them might be explaining to you kind of what's going on.
Okay.
But it's also nice, even in that, to have some sort of background.
Okay.
And some knowledge of what's going on. And we can help with that because we have books on sports, for example.
Football for Dummies. Okay. And it's a printout that you're holding up, but that's because it's an online resource.
Yes. This book, we have other sports books for dummies, but if you're specifically interested in football, I don't know, for a big game that might be coming up in the near future here, this one is available as an ebook.
I love that it's written by Howie Long and it says consultant is John Zarnecki. So like football people.
I'm glad that you know that.
Okay. You know what? My husband watches football religiously.
That's excellent. I'm glad to hear it.
I used to sit in like you with your dad, maybe, but not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But those names are familiar.
There you are. So we have books written by experts. We do, that can come to your aid. What else have we got, Diane?
Unless you've been specifically told otherwise, you'll never go wrong bringing snacks.
Oh, that's true. Absolutely.
And this also gives you a little break. So if you notice that people's snacks are running low, you can volunteer to go and get more snacks.
Nice. Little exit strategy for a little break. I love that. And then for snacks, I know we have tons of cookbooks.
Oh, we certainly do. In fact,
we have some here.
We have one from Taste of Home.
What's this one called?
Boards, Platters, and More.
Okay. Awesome.
And it has in it
the snack stadium. Oh my goodness. So it's like bleachers of snacks and like a little center that's very cute. So you can get really creative with snacks.
Yes, when you're surviving a viewing party, one of the strategies is to channel the heart and soul that other people are putting into the sports team, into the presentation of the treats that you bring. We have another helpful resource for that. This is the Hungry Fans Game Day Cookbook.
Nice.
Beautiful illustrations. Diane and I were particularly taken with this idea. The tachos. They're
looks like nachos.
They are like nachos. But with tater tots.
With tater tots. Nice.
Who could say no to that?
No, that sounds delicious. Okay, so you can be creative. You can, if you like to cook food, you could volunteer to make all the food. You can spend some of the viewing party in the kitchen and still be part of the viewing party and still, enjoy your family, your friends.
Yes,
Absolutely.
enjoying family and friends is a good point. Probably if you're at a viewing party and you're not a sports person, the reason you are there is the relationship. So it's okay to lean into that. And there is a chance that you will not be the only person there who is also in it to be with people as opposed to watch the game. If this is the case, you should find a quiet, out of the way location where your chatter will not disturb the diehard sports fans.
Yes.
Because as we know, at some viewing parties, which shall remain nameless, the ads are just as important as the game. So
That's
there really is no safe time for talking. But if there's a kitchen or another place and you find another person who's in it for the people, another survival strategy you can use is to engage in the kinds of conversation that you love most with another person during the party. But if that's hard for you, which it may be for some of us, we do have some things to help. You want to tell them about the digital course you've got?
Oh,
The
Yes.
LinkedIn Learning.
We have a LinkedIn learning course called Confident Communication for Introverts.
nice. Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn Learning, you do need an in-district card, but you have your card number. You can go online and you do all the courses online.
Yes.
Yeah, and
That's great.
they're wonderful. They're taught by experts. They usually come with some kinds of exercises,
Yes.
and that's just one of the many conversation courses that they had. We
Yes,
went
there
through
are
and
more. Yeah.
tried to pull out the one that was most applicable to this particular situation.
Right.
Yes. But if you don't want to do an online course, we also have traditional reading materials. I was looking for a good conversation book, and I found one that I thought was going to be the winner. The Intelligent Conversationalist, because it says here that there are 31 cheat sheets in this book to tell you
Yes.
how to talk about anything. So I eagerly paged through the book looking for the cheat sheets, and I found one that taught you how to talk about the stock market, and I have found one that taught you how to talk about politics.
Interesting.
No sports.
No sports.
I think this book is written for people who talk to prime ministers.
Okay. Well,
we found a better one, though.
It could be.
We found a better one, though.
This one says how to make small talk.
Yes, this
Always
is.
know just what to say to anyone in any situation. Wow.
Yes, this one we have as an e-audio book, and this one will help you better. It also has warm-up questions. I went through and looked through the list of those. So if you find yourself having difficulty keeping the conversation going, this book can be a nice resource for you. You can have some of those in your back pocket, the ones that feel most natural to you.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. So I'm going to point out something librarians are good at is research.
It's true.
So even though you haven't been to a viewing party and you guys put your heads together, you're like, well, we can still research this and find this information for folks who need it. So I think that's great.
Yes.
What other information ideas do you guys have to survive the viewing party?
Yes. Well, if you have attempted food and conversation and knowing the basics to avoid embarrassment, you probably earned yourself the level up of bringing secret enjoyment. The library is a wonderful resource for people who like to keep busy with their hands. And there are many projects that you can do that are contained in your personal space. So you could conceivably be doing an on-theme and appropriate craft project that wouldn't interfere with anyone else's enjoyment of the game. So we have a couple different resources for that. You want to tell them more about our digital resource of choice?
I love Creative Bug.
Oh, yeah, me too.
They have, it's through Joanne Fabric, and they have video courses on everything from paper quilling to quilting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just absolutely fantastic. I've watched a few of them. I watched one on altered books,
Okay.
which was very interesting and looks very fun.
Yeah.
But there are also, of course, things like crochet
Which
and knitting.
I did a crochet course. Yeah.
Yep.
So those are things that you can learn in
Yeah.
preparation for the big day.
And as long as you knit or crochet in team colors, you will be considered
brilliant.
participating in the event, especially if you're making something like a throw that could be brought to a live game
Right.
or a scarf, in
Sure.
team colors. So
Or a
just
cap,
buy the right yarn
Yep.
and you'll be all good.
pick the right colors.
Yes. So the Creative Bug is great. The video tutorials are made with very good production value,
That's
much better than the amateur YouTuber. But if you still prefer a book, we do have a couple of suggestions.
Okay.
This is Not Monsters. He is a crocheter who has a digital presence. This is the sports edition.
Sports edition.
And you can see this is the amigurumi crochet pattern. So those are small objects made out of crochet.
And so for those that are just listening and not watching the video, you're opening the page. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say there's all kinds of sports balls.
Yes. And so this is our favorite. This is a football that has eyes on it. So it looks like a little cute, friendly football that even someone who wasn't into sports ball might bond with.
And then a baseball on the other side. I mean,
that's
to make
right.
it bigger, make it a softball.
Yes, it is true. Yeah, any kind. So these are lovely patterns, and they are small crochet pattern projects that would fit in your hands.
And the amigurumi, because I've made a few in my crocheting career.
Yes,
they're like little stuffed animals or little stuffed plushies, and in this case, sports balls.
Yes,
and various things. There's like a baseball bat I see there too. So.
Yes. Yeah. That's a fabulous pick. If fibercrafts are not your thing, we can move on to paper. This is the complete book of origami polyhedra. How do you say that word? Polyhedra. Yeah. These are shapes, three-dimensional shapes, such as a ball, like a football. There's even an example on the back of how to make an origami football. And this one on the front looks more like a soccer ball.
It does.
So if you are an advanced folder, this is probably not a beginner book. But these are lovely because when you make these shapes, you often have to fold several instances of the same thing. You have to do the same 3 steps to a whole bunch of pieces of paper. And that's perfect for doing in your lap on top of maybe a hardcover book while you're watching TV.
Yes, absolutely.
And then finally, for those who want to learn to sketch, this is a kid's book. This is Drawing with Sports Illustrated Kids.
Oh, fun.
Picture a touchdown. And this is how to draw football players in action poses.
Absolutely.
They start with very simple stick figures and then show you how to flesh out the players performing their signature plays.
Nice. I think that's a great idea too, that like drawing and that you can actually go into like the children's section and find a lot of helpful how to draw books. My son, I got him like how to draw a dragon or something like that. I was like, oh, I want to borrow that. And I still could, your library card's good for all the books in the library. So yeah, that's amazing. That's a great idea.
There are a lot of great children's books that, teach adults things.
Well, even like the nonfiction section, I'm sure there's a kids' football book in there somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right.
Absolutely.
Begin your adventures at the library. Borrow a Checkout Washington Discover Pass backpack or our new birding backpack to explore our stunning state parks and get a look at the birds of the inland Northwest. Kids can delve into the wonders of their own backyards with one of our STEM Explorer kits. Take the whole family on a cultural journey with our family museum passes to Mobius Discover Center or Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture. Sign up for guided hikes along local trails to learn more about our natural spaces. Check out a pickleball set and head to a court near you. And be sure to visit our mobile library link at a community event. At Spokane County Library District, your next adventure starts at your local library.
Well, we've come to our last tip. Okay. And this is actually the most important one, in my opinion. All of the other survival strategies will get you so far. But if you really want to enter into the spirit of the gathering, you're going to need to find a reason to care.
Okay.
And I don't think it's as hard as we make it out to be. I might not like the vibe of a large gathering with a lot of food, in the case of the one that I attended earlier, a lot of dogs. But as a librarian, I do care about a good story. And sports is full of good stories. Yes. I will listen to your heartwarming sports moment story after it happens, the game that you were at, that you were so glad you were there. I will watch the sports movies. I'm in it for the story. So to prepare yourself to attend a viewing party, you might want to immerse yourself in some of the stories. Now, this can be tricky in resources because sports stories are often hidden underneath layers of jargon and statistics. So
Okay.
I checked out several football books, trying to find one that was good. This is one that didn't work out very well, and I'll show you why.
My husband loved this book.
Yes, I imagine that if you're
I'm like, I recognize that title. He told me all about it.
That's right. This is 50 Years, 50 Moments, the most unforgettable plays in Super Bowl history, and by Jerry Rice and Randy O. Williams. And this is a great book if you are already a football fan, because I've opened to a page and it is a table full of statistics.
Absolutely.
Yes, and if you already know what all of those numbers and acronyms mean, CMP, PCT, I think that one stands for yards, then this will be great. But if you are not yet initiated into the intricacies of that,
more of an advanced.
This might not be the book for you. It is actually capturing those heartwarming stories that we love, but this is not the one for the.
But you could say, "Hey, have you read this book?" to a fan, and be like,
yes,
there's so many stats and interesting things about all 50 years of the Super Bowl.
Yes, or a more open-ended question like, "Do you have a favorite sports book? Do you ever read about? Tell me,"
Right.
and then I get some recommendations from there. But interestingly, the book that I could connect with is by the same author. This is also Jerry Rice and Randy O. Williams. This is called America's Game, the NFL at 100. And it is the history of how football evolved in America, how it became one of our signature pastimes, and then how people who played it organized themselves into something like leagues and something like a professional association. And it is a good story and fewer charts. And I think Diane found another one that has some great local stories too.
Yes.
Okay.
Then Zorn said to Largent, which you don't have to know, and you can still call yourself a Seahawks fan.
Okay.
But Jim Zorn and Steve Largent were two of the early players for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
They were a fantastic team. Most of your diehard Seahawks fans,
Sure.
they're going to know who Zorn and Largent were.
And even if you don't, you could enjoy this book. This is the best Seattle Seahawks stories ever told, and it captures those moments, the good story.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are the personal stories. They did Zorn was a quarterback,
Okay.
and he did a lot of passing to Largent, and they did a milk commercial
Okay.
where Zorn passed a carton of milk to Steve Largent.
How did that go?
It went very well, and my cousins thereafter referred to them as the milkmen.
There you go.
I thought you were going to tell me.
The cousins tried it.
Right, the cousins tried it, and then they found out about the magic of TV, where that carton of milk definitely did not have liquid in it, or was made of a sturdier material than milk cartons typically are.
But the milkman, that's funny.
I think that's an important point. There are the iconic sports stories, and then there are the ways that the sports stories impacted the people that you love.
Right.
So I think one of your goals, if you attend a sports ball viewing party and you're not into the sport, is to see if you can get somebody to tell a sports story of their own in their own family lore, something that that they've cherished and laughed about over the years,
Right.
because then it can be a vehicle of bonding for you, even if you don't understand what's going on.
When I will say something sports related, and my husband will like, "Oh, you know that?" I'm like, "Well, you told me that." Like, I remember the little tidbits and facts. I don't necessarily remember everything, but I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that person or this person." He likes a lot of different sports, so it's a lot to remember. And sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, tell me more about that," and yeah, so get them talking. Yeah,
Yep.
Sports fans love to talk about sports.
absolutely. Yes.
It's okay. I like to talk about books.
Exactly. Right?
We
We
both
all-
must practice good conversation
We
skills.
all like to talk about what we
Yes.
enjoy. Is there any sort of etiquette or sports viewing sort of way to be at the party?
As I said in the beginning, your friends know you, and they know how you feel about sports ball, and they are so happy that you agreed to come to this viewing party.
Mm-hmm.
They're excited to have you there. They're excited to tell you what's going on. Don't sit in the prime seat.
Okay, how do you know what's the right seat?
The best view of the TV.
Okay. You want to save that for the diehard fans, maybe sit off to the side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't be afraid to ask your host, who are we rooting for?
That's a good call. Yeah.
To avoid embarrassment, perhaps when you get the invite. Yeah. You want to know who you're rooting for, what colors, dress in the appropriate colors, bring the appropriate color yarn, the appropriate color pencil, the appropriate color origami paper, so that you're participating in. Yes. And then take your cue from the room about when talking is allowed, whether or not the commercials are sacred.
Okay. Good call. All right. So, and if somebody comes in, they're like, well, I tried some of this. It's still, what can they do? They come into the library looking for some more help.
That's true. This sounds like help you might need to get from somebody who's more deep into relationships than other things. But I would suggest that if all of these strategies have not been enough for you to survive a viewing party, then a viewing party really might not be your thing. And your next best thing is to be honest with the people in your life about what kind of fun you enjoy and to create an alternative event that is more common ground for you.
That sounds great.
Yes.
And if there's if it's a different sport, we talked a lot about football.
Sure.
They can come in, talk to anybody at the front desk and say, we're going to be watching soccer.
Yep. We have a new coworker who loves cricket.
Cricket.
Yes.
She pointed out all of the cricket books that we have in our collection. Any of these categories can be transferred over to another
any
sport.
Kind of sport. Okay, great.
Spokane has a cricket team.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Okay, this is news to me. Amazing.
But not news to the librarian.
That's great. Yeah, so we have books on all these things. I think with our digital and physical, it's like 1.5 million different materials. So we pretty much got it covered.
That's true. And I don't think we mentioned Sir's Discoverer.
I don't think we did, but that's a good place to find team information.
Okay. And this is another online resource.
Yes.
I think is it provided by
ProQuest.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that is another
that
one.
little nugget was in my brain too.
That's another one that's geared at a third grade reading level, fourth grade reading level. You can adjust it there. So it's simple and basic information, but good for finding out who's who in the teams and what the rivalries are and things like that. And
that's you just talked about third and fourth grade. Like, you can start getting kids maybe a little bit excited about viewing parties if it's more of a multi-generational gathering.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they can go out and play, or they can kind of come in and enjoy it.
Oh, if only that were still an option for me. Maybe that's what the dogs were for. You were supposed to go outside and throw a ball for them if you weren't interested in the sports ball.
Honestly, that sounds like a great party to me.
It's all so clear now. Hindsight, it's 2020.
Next time, if there's dogs, go play with dogs.
Go throw a ball. Keep them away from other people's food. Everyone will be grateful.
Oh, thank you, Dana, Diane, for pulling all this information together. Librarians answer our customers' questions. And this is really great. You guys did a lot of great research. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.